And here we are at last. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone, wherever you happen to be in the world today. Welcome one and all to Coffee Talk. It is time once again for Coffee Talk Live, where we will be having some discussion about what is going on in the world today. We'll take a look at some clips from the news, share a little bit of dialogue with those of you who are able to join us for the live portion. And if you happen to be listening anywhere else and you wanted to join the live portion, you can find us Monday through Friday on YouTube on Coffee Talk Live. And I'll put that up there really quick. If I can spell Coffee Talk Live, and I'll post that because I am simultaneously podcasting to Coffee Talk and Prepper University. But again, for the dozenth time, as of the first week of June, I'm going to be backing off of putting that on Prepper University and redevote that channel back to prepper related things. So there you are. You can find me on X at Coffee Talk Chat, and you can find me on fistfulofradio.com podcasting out of Atlanta. For all the good it does, I'll take a minute to say hello to some of the people that are chiming in here. I'm a little late today. See, Helter is here, Dragon, Sven, Caps is here, Fluke Man is here, Puck. Caps says, sounds like Canadian Prepper. What sounds like Canadian Prepper? There you go. Raccoon is here. No, you're not late. I am. Marvel Fan is here as I try to catch up a little bit. Again, if you are watching on Prepper University, please do now join us on Coffee Talk, because within the next week or so, the podcast will only be on Coffee Talk, and then I'll start doing prepper and homesteading and bushcraft type videos pretty much exclusively to Prepper University the way it first started. I'm a little late today because, of all things, I was actually helping to move a pool table, which is no easy task. I don't know if you're aware of it, but a regulation pool table weighs about 700 pounds. So that thing is a beast. Damn pain in the ass is what it is. Regulation pool table weighs a freaking ton. And I saw, I know you saw the thumbnail, and we're going to get to that. I had said I wouldn't talk about Karmelo Anthony again until something interesting happened. And something interesting has happened, and we're going to get to that here shortly. And then, then all the trolls can go ahead and get mad at me, and that's okay. That's okay. Get mad. See where it gets you. Cap says, I thought I was never going to see you again. Yeah, really. And Sven says, we thought the intergalactic space demons got you. I'd be better off with intergalactic space demons than I would be dealing with the government. And Puck says, yes, bushcraft. Bush. With a B, bushcraft. That's correct. Bushcraft and camping and prepping and pantries and farming and all that lovely stuff, which is what I used to do pretty much exclusively on Prepper University until it got suspended. And then I shared the podcast to that channel to help boost it. So here we go. Here we go. We may as well start with a little bit of corruption. And this is a USA Today article. I got a kick out of this. Chapter leaders, and they're talking about a union. Chapter leaders allegedly mishandled over $100,000 in major federal unions' funds. Is that all? That's pigeon feed. That's chicken feed, as they say. That's barely scratching the surface to how much these bigwigs in unions rip everything off. But 100,000 was caught, and this guy actually turned it in. A chapter of the second largest union representing federal employees allegedly mishandled more than 100,000 in union funds, the highest amount in 25 years. The highest amount that you've caught in 25 years. Let's fix that. A former Food and Drug Administration employee named Brandon Bruce says he uncovered the scheme after digging into his chapter's books. When Bruce took 2 trips from San Diego to suburban Washington, D.C. with his labor union leaders and submitted 3,500 in expense reports for a daily rate of hotel, taxis, and airfare, his union president, who traveled separately, was reimbursed for 8,500. So he made 5,000 more in reimbursement. The 2 men stayed in the same hotel in the same city, entitled to the same reimbursement rate daily, according to Bruce. His boss traveled from Arizona, which would not have accounted for the large discrepancy in airfare. Maybe he flew first class. Bruce pontificates there. But after Bruce got elected to leadership position within the union, he found irregularities of the chapter's records. 2 iPads and an iPad mini purchased for the chapter president in a 3-year period. $12,000 worth of storage units approved for the treasurer, who made checks out to someone with a similar last name. A man with no former position in the union signing checks, including to himself. In total, Bruce alleges $116,000 went missing from the National Treasury Employees Union chapter in San Francisco, and that's Local 212, which represents 900 workers with the Department of Health and Human Services. No one has yet been charged with a crime in the missing funds. The Department of Labor indicated it on April that it had pending investigative proceedings related to the chapter. As with any investigation, NTEU does not comment on investigations currently in progress. The National Treasury Employees Union is the 2nd largest federal employee union, representing 150,000 workers in 37 different agencies, blah, blah, blah. So this is 116,000, drop in the bucket. Trust me, there's more money missing. And I'll see how long this guy continues to work for the union after he's exposing people that he's working with for basically lying on their expenditure reports. And that was his first clue. How come we did the same things in the same places? My report says 35 and yours says 85. You're stealing. You're stealing. DJ wants to know if I'm anticipating a financial collapse, civil war, weather, weapon attack, government collapse, or some type of grid down scenario. No, I don't anticipate anything like that. I just prepare for it because you never know if or when it's going to happen. It's kind of like in the Bible when they say that you're not going to know when the fall is coming. It's the same scenario. You never know when something's going to happen, but do be prepared for it. Do be prepared for it at all times. But yeah, financial collapse, I don't really see it. Plus, we've been through financial collapses in this country before and pulled through. Civil war, not likely. Not likely, at least not on a national scale. Weather weapon attack, that goes into a whole different realm of speculation. So, and if it's happening, it's happening, and there's not much you can do about it. Not much you could do about it. And Sven says the grid is going down. How long is the question? The more rules from California are adopted, the worse it gets. True. And that's why you prepare. That's why you prepare. I mean, look what happened even just during the whole COVID pandemic scare. People couldn't get toilet paper. And it wasn't that there wasn't toilet paper. It's manufactured right here in the United States. 99% of the toilet paper that is used in the U.S. is made in the U.S. The stores and the warehouses were full of it, but people panicked and they ran out and bought it. And that's why you couldn't find any. They panicked and ran out and bought it because they were stupid, because they weren't prepared. We didn't even realize there was a problem until we started seeing the news stories. And then when we went to the local stores, we saw that the paper aisles were empty. There was no paper towels. There was no toilet paper. There were no baby wipes. There was no sanitary wipes. There was no vitamins. The vitamin aisles were wiped out. It didn't affect us. It didn't affect us. Who cares? Because we have extras of those supplies. We have extras of those supplies. So it was no big deal to us. We hardly noticed. But it's usually that kind of a panic buying scenario that screws everything up, because people are stupid and they're not prepared. And that was the whole big joke about it to begin with. Is when I talked about this actually with the European Union warning people to have an emergency stockpile of 3 days worth of food and water. And I'm like, 3 days worth of food and water is not a stockpile. Have 6 months worth and then get back to me. But from their perspective, it is, because the average person in the Western world anymore doesn't have 3 days worth of food in their home. Doesn't have it. So yeah, you might want to have something put up for emergencies. Have something put up, even if it is just toilet paper. Food, it's not that hard. It's just that a lot of the things that would be good for long-term for food storage, people don't want it. The average person in the West doesn't want rice and beans and pasta. I do. I like it. Or lentils. Okay. DJ wants to know, mainstream, I guess you mean. Will mainstream propaganda be replaced with truth or less propaganda? You're going to have to pick your truth out. The system likes to equivocate, and that is, they tell you a part of the truth, but just enough so that something else remains covered or hidden. And that's a problem. That's the problem. We're seeing an infiltration of social media with a lot of the doom and gloom and scare tactics. But it's up to the individuals to be discerning about it for the time being. And there's the old joke, you have to find your own truth. There's kind of some truth to that, unfortunately. But when you find your own truth, that's how you end up with people in the trans community who just make things up as they go. Like that whole bit with the gay animals. Don't get me going on that again. But yeah, there's always going to be propaganda. There's going to be more and more of it all the time. And you just have to be really careful about what you believe, what you see, and what you hear, especially with CGI getting so good. You can't trust a lot of it. You can't trust a lot of it. Just be careful. Keep your nose to the grindstone. Take care of yourself and your own. It pays too. I know it's a good idea to know what's going on in the world, but also to know that most of it really doesn't affect you, and that worrying about it isn't going to help you. Isn't going to help you. I've been through so much of it over the years, and you hear all the doom and gloom from people. You know, global warming, climate change, the ozone layer. Let's go back a few years. Remember, the ozone layer was going to kill us all? Who remembers that? The ice caps are going to melt and we'll be under 6 feet of water. I've been listening to that shit since the 70s. None of it's happened. Yellowstone's going to erupt any day now. Sure it is. Oh, the buffalo all left Yellowstone. It's going to erupt. It's a sign. You know how many times that's happened? You know how many times they've migrated away from Yellowstone and came back? Since the 70s, since I first started hearing those stories. Or the red cow. Oh, a red calf has been found. It's a signal of the end of the world. You know how many red cows there are? Do you have any idea? They got at least 7 of them in Israel now. and then another 30 on a ranch in Texas waiting to be transported. I've read stories about that because that comes up every few years. A red cow, yeah. So if you don't have a temple, you can't sacrifice it. Anyway, oh, that's what it is. Raccoon says red cows make strawberry milk. Is that what it is? Is that what it is? DJ wants to know who the head of the deep state cabal is. No idea. I don't think it's anybody we would actually see if there is, if there is such a person or such an organization. You won't find them. It's kind of like how you see the thing where they tell us to put Anthony Fauci in jail. How many people do you think Fauci would be covering for? 50, 100, 500? Anthony Fauci's a scapegoat, and he knows it. If he goes to jail, he'll go to jail to cover for everyone else, and he's been well compensated for it. So who's actually in charge? I don't know. I don't know. That's right. Puck says red cap can't have a single white hair. And it has to be between a certain age range, too. They age out. I think it's 3 years. They can't be older than 3. I might be mistaken on that. But here's your thumbnail. I thought this was important enough to point out because I said I didn't want to talk about Karmelo Anthony for a little while, but I'll go ahead and bring it up today because of what happened the other day here with him. And this is a Total Pro Sports article. Karmelo Anthony and his family received terrible news that has him facing life in prison. He was already facing life in prison, but hey, let's go. Karmelo Anthony, 17-year-old charged with the murder of a teenager of the same age, Austin Metcalf, received terrible news as it pertains to his case. According to reports, Anthony is set to be tried as an adult. And while the death penalty is off the table, he would face life in prison if found guilty. Anthony was arrested and underwent due process following Metcalf's death in April. The teens got into a fight at a school track meet in Frisco after Metcalf told Anthony to leave his team's area. The latter is alleged to have taken a knife from his bag and stabbed Metcalf in the heart. He then fled the scene, but police caught up with him shortly after, leading to an immediate confession. That's true. Given that the Texas is a concurrent jurisdiction state, Anthony can be tried as an adult, with prosecutors permitted to charge minors as young as 16 as adults under certain offenses. And it says a conviction could see him spend the rest of his life in prison with the possibility of parole after 40 years. 40 years. 40 years living off the taxpayer's dime, getting 3 hots and a cot. So, yeah, that doesn't surprise me. That doesn't surprise me. No, he's not going to get the death penalty because he is a minor. He would be tried as an adult because A, he's close enough to it being 17, and B, because it looks premeditated from the judge's perspective. Whatever you feel about the case, that's the bottom line. He entered someone else's domain, the tent. He got into a confrontation with the other boy, Metcalf, and he claims to have been defending himself, although he fought an unarmed person with a deadly weapon, then fled the scene, and then confessed that he had killed that boy when the police confronted him. And I know there's a lot of people that want to champion this, but again, bottom line, there's the rumor that he was bullied. It's already, we read the story confirmed by both schools. They didn't know each other. So I don't know where bullying comes from. And I guarantee you, any of us in my generation, we've been bullied a hell of a lot worse than anybody nowadays who are all up in their feelings and fall apart at the slightest thing. And if he was bullied, that cements the concept of premeditation because it implies, and it can be implied in court by the prosecutor. Oh, so you say you were bullied. That's why you brought a knife there, hoping to get into a fight. He doesn't seem like he's that frightened when he made those threats. There's a lot of witnesses to this. The best he could hope for is to plead involuntary manslaughter. Yeah, I pulled a knife out. I thought I would scare him, and I didn't think he was going to die. He might get involuntary manslaughter if he was smart enough to pull that angle. But we'll see. We'll see. Puck thinks he's only going to get 10 years and serve 5. Wow. Flukeman wants to send him to El Salvador. Oh, no. Hey, wouldn't that be something? It'd be like the old colonial days where people used to ship prisoners to Australia. But that's what's going on with this. I don't know what their fundraiser looks like. I haven't looked at that for a while. They're not the GoFundMe. It's not GoFundMe because the GoFundMe shut them down. Give, Send, Go is the one that let them stay. And the CEO of Give, Send, Go even said that they regret it now. They regret it now. I'll open that for you if you're curious, everybody. I'll let you see what that looks like. The current Give, Send, Go for Carmelo Anthony does not look like it has moved from where it was when we looked at it about a month ago. Honestly, it's at 533,552. With the last payments, one person donated $25 22 minutes ago, and the last donation prior to that was another $25 16 hours ago. This has slowed down quite a bit, but hey, there's more than $500,000 there. That's pretty good. That's a pretty good pull. And the Metcalf family, for funeral expenses and for other things, pulled about the same amount on GoFundMe. They had a GoFundMe set up. And as I pointed out, GoFundMe rejected the Carmelo Anthony Fund because they do not want to be associated with earnings connected to the commission of a crime. Again, everybody says alleged because that's how you avoid libel in print. But he did confess.